Good Thursday morning. Let's enjoy today. First of all, starting with this beautiful sunrise coming up over the horizon. Love this time of the morning when the colors really get bright. But I say we should enjoy it, not just because it looks pretty outside right now, but because today is the calm before our next storm. And it's starting out with not just that sunshine, but temperatures in the 20s and 30s, which for this time of year, that's fine. It's not too bad. 26 right now in Providence, 25 as we head to Smithfield, 24 in Westerly, 27 in Newport, and 25 in New Bedford. As we move through the day, hour by our forecast showing you that we go through the 20s into the 30s into the 40s, and I really do think by the afternoon, with that sunshine around and more air from the south warming us up a little bit, that a few spots will actually hit 50 degrees, which is a good bit above average, about 7 degrees or so for cities like Providence, for example. So hopefully you can get outside, get a little vitamin D, and enjoy the fact that you won't be shivering stepping out the door. But this is where the fun stuff ends and the trouble begins, because overnight tonight this next storm is knocking on our doorstep and things get pretty turbulent pretty quickly. In fact, I am going to put us in a weather alert for tomorrow, considering the timing of this storm is inconvenient, but the factors of this storm are also pretty uncomfortable, with heavy rain and some really gusty winds. So what can you do to make this easier on yourself? It all comes down to common sense, right? Do things like leave a little extra early for your commute, whether it's to or from work, although that morning commute I do think looks a little worse right now, at least in terms of rain, but the wind will still be howling later in the day. Also, make sure you tie the decorations down. You don't want frosty blowing down the street with the wind tomorrow. Just make sure you're being careful in that regard too. Satellite and radar showing you there's nothing going on right now, but zooming out, here's the storm in question moving across the northern tier of the U.S. through the Great Lakes. This storm has already brought a lot of trouble, especially a lot of gusty winds to millions of people across the U.S. And unfortunately, as mentioned, we are not exempt. So let's go through the timing here. We'll start with Futurecast, and you'll notice the clouds come in later today. Once we get past midnight, that's where we end up with a few showers, but honestly, this is the lighter side of the rain. We're in and out of the showers as we head to tomorrow morning. That commute time, 7, 8, 9 o'clock. Expect some rain, but the heavy stuff really begins later in the morning, 10, 11, noon, and into the early afternoon. You can see some of those bands here coming across with this storm. I actually do think there's enough energy that we may hear a rumble of thunder. To be honest, that's not my main focus, but it's something to note as you're heading out the door in the afternoon. Rain still coming down at this point, and at the tail end of this storm, as cooler air comes in and we're squeezing moisture out of the air, we may actually see a little bit of a wintry mix before this thing is totally gone as we move into Saturday night. Again, the wind is a factor as well. We have wind advisories all over southern New England and high wind warnings for the Cape and the islands as well. So that's something to note as we go through our Friday and into Saturday early morning, as gusts could get up into the 30s, 40s, 50s, and some could even get close to 60 miles per hour, especially on the coast. So please keep that in mind and just be cautious as you head out the door tomorrow. Now, the good news is the storm's gone in time for the weekend, and Saturday and Sunday actually look pretty good. Saturday, more sunshine, temperatures right around 40 degrees. You can see how effective that cool down is when the storm leaves. And then Sunday, we are looking out for a small disturbance, but it's really just going to bring us some clouds, so you can enjoy temperatures back into the mid 40s.